Welcome to Inside the UPSL on TV Emax and on TVEmax.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, and on Instagram. That is at UPSL Soccer. I'm Alex Naveja, your host, and alongside me today, back on the show, is Art F. Dakari and Dennis Pope. We're gonna talk a little bit about you, Art, in a few moments.
All right.
We're here every Thursday night to bring you guys the latest news on the fastest growing pro development soccer league, the UPSL. We'd first like to welcome you guys into Off the Top, where we introduce the top 3 stories in lower division soccer. First off, gentlemen, we have the UPSL being sued by the USL. Do we have any details going into that?
I can't say anything because I'm a member of the board of directors of the league, but I can say that Professor Stephen Bank on Twitter did a really good job outlaying a lot of the details of the lawsuit. So if you're interested, you should go look there. I think it's at Prof Bank on Twitter. He's a law professor at UCLA, does a lot of sports law things. He's covered it in detail. So he has a lot of great thoughts, a lot of things to really outline and display within the lawsuit. But it was filed last week. It sort of came to light early this week. The league has no comment on it officially at the moment. So it's sort of open to interpretation right now. There's no timeline being set for anything to happen yet. So it's sort of just there right now.
Okay. So moving forward, last week it was OCFC defeating OCSC in the US Open Cup, and we all saw that. Art was in attendance yesterday, and he even showed up on ESPN Plus, running on the field, and is celebrating it towards the end of the game. But Art, you got to tell us, what was the energy like? What was the community like? You got to tell us like we're there. Bring us back to how it was.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, it was, a lot of us were nervous most of the game. We felt that OCFC could win. And but by the way the game was going, the way OCFC's keeper was playing, David Praise, going into the shootout, I definitely felt that OCFC had a great chance to win. And yeah, it was a great moment. It was a lot of fun running onto the field. And I think when you talk about the community, I think the people that live in that area, I think they very quickly realized, hey, you know what, this Orange County Soccer Club is not really the team we should be cheering for. I think they realize it's time to cheer for Orange County FC. Yes, they have the bragging rights, and that's it. Not much more to say. I guess Orange County Soccer Club can, hope to play OCFC again in the future, but we'll see what happens.
Did you see the crowd shift at any point from being SC fans to FC fans?
No, actually, I don't think I saw that. I just saw a lot of the Orange County Soccer Club fans leaving early and trying to rain on the parade, but didn't work.
So would you see this matchup kind of like the matchup for Orange County in a way?
Yeah, I called it the battle for Orange County. Others said the battle of Orange County. That's exactly what it was. So the bragging rights have been established until the next competitive match between the two teams.
And it went all the way to PKs, right? The shootout. Were you biting your nails? We kind of caught glimpses of you. How much tension was there for that, and how many fans would you say were there for FC?
For the shootout, it's always nerve-wracking. I like watching a shootout when it's not my favorite team involved, but when it is your favorite team, you find yourself getting nervous. And I wasn't biting my nails, but definitely was a little nervous, of course, on my feet. And for the support from Orange County FC, I felt like we had a decent contingent. And I mean, it was an Orange County Soccer Club home game, but it's not like they weren't really filling up the stadium for that one.
Right, and of course, Championship Stadium, they don't really staff security there, so I'm not surprised you were able to jump onto the field and kind of make your way into the celebration there. How'd you get a hold of that flag, though? Where'd that flag come from?
One of the fans had it. You know what? I also had a press pass. I mean, I wasn't really showing it, but I did have one. But yeah, so there really was not that much of, oh my God, this guy's in the field. It all worked out fine.
Did you just let emotions take hold of you? Because we saw you online and you kind of looked like, like a man possessed, to be honest.
Okay, I was excited. You're not really thinking about, at that moment, you don't think about, hey, how am I going to appear later? Because, why should you care anyways? But some of the OCFC players, after the fact, they did tell me that they said I looked like a hooligan with that in that picture that you sent me and that you posted on social media. So, yeah, I heard there's been a good amount of talk about the picture. And
that's high praise, I think.
And
I
how
think
things
that's high
were.
praise.
I appreciated it, of course.
I think we all really enjoyed it last week when we were watching it on the show and watching it on the game itself. But moving forward, we do have the fall season coming right around the corner and applications still being accepted. But my question moving forward to you gentlemen is, with all this legal action going on, do you think this is going to help or hurt the application process?
I don't think it's going to hurt at all. I think teams are still going to want to play. I can't see them being deterred when they hear about this. I mean, I think a lot of people are just going to be having the mindset and just where they're saying things like, you know what, who cares what USL is trying to do? Many people are going to be saying that, they're basically a puppet of MLS, and we remember all the shenanigans that MLS has done over the years. I mean, it's just nonstop, and how could you even care about it anymore? I mean, this reminds me even of like DC United fans getting upset about Minnesota United having the name United in their team name. I mean, seriously, some of these MLS fans, MLS in general, just find something better to do because you just ruin soccer in the United States.
I think if anything, it'll pique people's interest, maybe about both, and to get a better understanding of the differences between the two. Will it hurt or help submissions and applications for the new year? We haven't seen any indication one way or the other. So I think it'll certainly put the league a little bit more in the public eye, maybe. So any publicity is good publicity, right?
Exactly, and I would agree too. I mean, you said it just right, 100%, just like that. Remember, guys, the application deadline is July 7th, so that's almost coming up in about a little less than 2 months away. But we're going to go ahead and take our first break inside the UPSL. But when we come back, we're going to have Doctor and the president of Alta California Soul, Dallery Dalton, joining us on the show. Don't forget to follow us and comment down below all of your questions on our social media platforms, on Instagram, Facebook, and even on Twitter. That is at UPSL Soccer. Welcome back to Inside the UPSL, presented by TV Emax. Let's welcome in Dr. Dallery Dalton into the show. Dallery, how are you doing tonight? Thanks for being on the show.
Oh, this is fantastic. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
We're excited to have you on the show, and we're definitely excited to hear all about Alta California Soul. But first, congratulations on winning the SoCal Championship North Division and earning the automatic promotion for the 2019 fall season. But what do those accomplishments mean for you and the club?
Thank you, because it is. It was everything. It was a goal from the onset. We knew that was something that was kind of a must-have in our organization. We knew that we had the quality of the players. We knew that we had the quality of staff. We know that we have the commitment of the fans, that we wanted to be in the Pro Premier. That was a goal from day one. So to actually achieve it and to just have that under our belt is really, we're still buzzing. We're still super excited about it.
Hi, Dallery. This is Dennis.
Hey.
Yeah, the club got out to such a great start, but we were wondering, how do you feel the club played down the stretch?
It's hard to say. It's hard to judge, actually, because I think that so many teams start off in the spring season it's like just get on the field and get going, and it's very quick. And then some of these teams start to get their momentum, and they get a few games under their belt. They're organized. They maybe pick up a few later players. So you have to give credit to the teams that we then played later in the season for coming out and really challenging us. I also think that we seem, it's like the teams that we ended up with at the end of the season were also the teams that put themselves up at the higher in the higher rankings. So I don't know if that was. It seemed like that was by chance, but we kind of got lucky because our toughest games were at the end of the season for sure. That said, I think that we had a few hiccups along the way, because I think it's easy to get complacent. It's easy to get to kick up your heels and say, oh, this is great. We're doing so well. But I have to give it to, we reached a point, and we were talking earlier about the one game that we were behind, and then we came back to win with 15 minutes left in the game. That was a real turning point for us, because I think we realized that we could put ourselves into these challenging games and come back and just stay in the game the whole time. But I'm extremely proud of the guys. I'm extremely proud of the consistency of the staff and the commitment of the core of the team to stay with that particular goal of being promoted and seeing it to the end, because it wasn't decided until the end. We had to go all the way to the last game to know that we were going to make it. So that's pretty exciting. Just as a season goes, that's pretty exciting, and I think it kept everybody on their toes for sure.
Dallery, Art of Takari here. Looking at the standings, Alta California Soul 6 wins, 1 tie at home, so no losses. What can you tell me about your home supporters?
It is the thing about our home is, the trick to being a successful team, I think, is to having the people who have the skills and the know-how to bring about that success. So it wasn't just about our fans, which were incredibly loyal. They followed us when we were away. I think sometimes we were able to put together a group of fans in the stands on away games that rivaled the home team's fans. And so we had loyalty for sure, but we had the staff that said, we're going to put together an experience that is that brings people to the stadium, that says, okay, we're going to watch a higher level of soccer. So yes, we are playing at a high school stadium, but when you walk into that high school stadium, you are seeing guys that are they're organized. They care about how they look and how they come across. They care about how they warm up, and so when fans came to the home games, they knew they were going to get a good show. They knew that they were going to get players that cared about the game and cared about the outcome and wanted to have a high level experience. but I also think that, toward the end, as fans started getting into it, we started to have noisemakers in the stands. We had the vuvuzelas, and so we started to get some really great energy around just the enthusiasm of it. And you cannot stress enough. It is the way it is, I guess is what they say, is that it really helped that we were doing well, because the fans knew that they were going to come and be able to share in that success. And so, and at this point in time, our fans, couldn't be more loyal, because a lot of them are family and friends of the players. And in this next season, now that they've had the success and the word is getting out, I think that we'll be able to expand our fan base but to have that core fan base meant everything, and it meant a lot to the players. I know that. But I tell you, the one of the most memorable times for me was in that one game when we were coming from behind. One of the men on the team, he is also a local coach, and he has players that he invites to the games, and then we invite them to be ball kids, and they were off the track. And when the goal got scored, the winning goal got scored, you can see in the Mike Hujo film, you can see these kids start to run almost like they're going to go on the field. And to me, that, I could replay that over and over and over, because that's the fan that it just makes all the difference. It makes all the difference to the guys. They saw that clip. They saw those guys, those young boys running on and screaming when our guys were dogpiling. They wanted to be on the field celebrating that goal with them, and it's pretty neat. It's the fans, man, they're just everything. If you can hook the fans, you've created a whole nother level of experience, I think.
Valerie, what do you see? Where do you see the team in 10 years from now?
Oof. Well, isn't that sort of throws us into that controversial, like, what is the landscape going to be like, right? I have no idea what the men's soccer landscape is going to be like. So it's hard to say what that looks like, but I think that from a local standpoint, like, we will be blossoming locally. And so I see us locally. I see us having a facility of our own, training and playing in 5 years is maybe a long-term contract. In 10 years is actually our own. That may be a big dream, but at least something that we can call ours. And I also see that we are we're successful in our goals that we have set for ourselves in terms of our promoting the men to the next level of whatever their next level is, whether it's playing at the next level and all the different levels that they have available to them, or whether or not it's a career next level. So whether or not it's coaching or media, whatever. If they want to be in a career in soccer, that we've helped them achieve that, and that we have enough men that have gone through that we can actually tell their stories and say, they developed as a youth through the program, and then they went through the adult program, and now look at them. They're coaching at the next level, they're playing at the next level. I also think that, we will have established ourselves in the community in such a way that we will be better connected with the youth, and so that the youth side is maybe that there's a clear pathway for the youth, and then I'm not going to rest until there's a women's side. So, and if that doesn't happen in the next 3 years, then look out, because I'm going to be raging. That's got to happen very quickly, I think, to satisfy me. So I think that the women's side will be vibrant and solid too in that 10-year time.
Valerie, again, congratulations on the promotion, and we wish you the best of luck on any upcoming projects for the team.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's been really great. It's been quite the dream season. It's been really fun. Very quick, too quick, but it's been wonderful.
Thank you for stopping by, Valerie. But we're going to go ahead and step aside and hear from our sponsors.
Mr. John manages a small football club with just a few followers. Every day he wonders, how can I attract more supporters? Internet is the answer, but a channel is time-consuming, expensive, and hard to maintain. Everything has changed since Mr. John met MyCujo, the football broadcasting solution for small and medium-sized clubs and leagues. Mr. John noticed how everything has started to change quickly when supporters and fans began to arrive. If you want your club to enjoy the same benefits as Mr. John's, sign up with mycujo.tv. Attract more followers for your club and empower its business now. MyCujo, democratization of football broadcasting. mycujo.tv.
Welcome back to Inside the UPSL, presented by TV Emax. And now it's the MyCujo UPSL Goal of the Week, presented by The Right Stuff, an official UPSL partner.
Golazo. ¿Quién lo metió?
No supe quién lo metió.
No, el otro. Ah, sí, le dije, andaba con todo. Chance shot. Go! Doing it.
And those are some of the candidates for the MyCujo Goals of the Week. Gentlemen, it seems like every week we have some of these candidates putting in some great work, great shots, and by the way, some great angles, I should say, as well. But, I mean, where can we even start? I mean, we could first start off with Connie perfectly spotting that shot and just being there, perfect spot, and coming in with the assist, being able to shoot that one in. But what are you guys' thoughts as far as these four candidates?
I think the video got better as it went on. I think the last goal was my favorite, but you know, again, the competition is fierce every week for Goal of the Week. We're getting more and more submissions all the time, and just to see the quality improve as the season's gone on has been really impressive.
What about you, Art?
Yeah, a lot of good goals. Very entertaining. I voted for Zach Reguette. I like what I like the goal he scored, and you know, he plays for RWB Adria, you know, a very well-known team.
I don't know. I really appreciate Benuna's shot from the 20. If you look at the 20, 25-yard line, he delivers with a nice laser beam shot, and that takes a lot of talent right there to be able to come up with a real good shot from there. But, I mean, not to take away any of the other shots that everybody else shot, but I think Benuna is the one that really stands out. The distance that he has to take a lot of power to be able to possess an accurate shot.
It looks like
that.
most of the people are agreeing with you. I think Benuna's leading right now, is he not?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then talking about the Zach Leggett shot off the chest, and then shooting with his left foot. That may be his foot that he's probably the least. You know, maybe he's a righty, but he's trying to get like he's more positioned with his left foot. But some pretty tough shots this week.
Yeah, no, some bangers for sure. I like them. I think just keep them coming. We want to see him, you know, progress and get better every week. I think every week the camera gets a little bit better. Every week the goals get a little better. Every week the whole thing gets a little better. So I'm excited to see where we end up at the end of the year.
And of course, we were talking a little bit about camera angles a little while ago, and of course, the last shot by Victor Pereira in the top left corner, getting that shot
tropics, yeah.
right there. And you know what? A lot of props to the camera angle right then and there. And you guys were mentioning that's some professional camera work right there.
That was a great camera angle. I think that really adds to the perspective right on the goal. To have the Mike Cujo angle and then have a secondary camera that's available, you know, I think that makes the video much more enjoyable.
And remember, guys, you guys can still vote. The polls will close tonight at 11:59 p.m. So make sure to get on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever we are at in our social media platforms. But we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break. But when we come back, it'll be time to swing our way to the East Coast swing. Welcome back to Inside the UPSL, presented by TV EMAX. Let's make our way to the East Coast swing as we talk about the pressing topics across the UPSL East. Let's first talk about Florida, as the Florida Soccer Soldiers signed up and also reached their GoFundMe.com goal. And what does it say about the state of U.S. soccer that high caliber clubs like Florida Soccer Soldiers must do this?
Well, it's not good. You know, to have a team that's still competing in the, what's this going to be, the third round of U.S. Open
third round.
Cup, has to set up an account to have pledges for money to have them be able to afford to make a trip to North Carolina is unfortunate. But it is the state of things. I mean, GoFundMe is there for a reason. It's popular for a reason. It's because it works. You know, a lot of people use it for 1,000 different things, and Soccer Soldiers are using it to help fund their trip to North Carolina. So it's not good. I mean, should there be a participant in the tournament proper that needs to have some sort of, you know, fan account set up to where that propels them throughout the tournament? You know, I just think that, you know, U.S. Soccer should be a little bit better than that.
But here's a thing that's a little insane. They even reached their goal that they wanted to aspire, but that's pretty insane as well, I would say.
Yeah, I think, you know, to reach a goal in GoFundMe is an awesome thing. And, you know, set your sights low maybe so those goals are attainable. But, yeah, to reach a goal and to be able to get that and really make it a tangible thing, it shows not only that, you know, it's out there, that the support for lower division soccer is out there, but also, you know, the dream is alive, right, with a lot of people. So, you know, keep it going, Soccer Soldiers. I think they're fantastic what they're doing.
And as far as, you know, how Florida is, as far as we were talking about it last week, they even had a little bit of a watch party at one of the bars over there in Florida to be able to even watch their match last week. So some pretty big things going on over there in Florida, as there's always something going on. But now let's shift over to the Southeast, as World Class Premier Elite claiming the Mid-Atlantic North Division. And I don't know if you guys have seen it, but they've been gloating a little bit on social media saying, hey, we won it. See, check it out. We're in the top of the schedule. Look at us. We're in the top of the standings. What do you guys think? And have you guys even seen it?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of it. I mean, they're zooming in on some screenshots of the number of goals they score, because, you know, let's face it, their goal difference is really good. They scored 43 goals, only allowed 6, so a positive 37 goal difference. Of course, that's awesome. But I saw, one of their other graphics. It's like their motto or something is, it said, "Play the right way." And yeah, that's the great. They must have taken hours upon hours to come up with that. Very creative. Kind of reminds me of that time when, Lane Kiffin was hired to be coach of the Raiders, and he said, "We are going to play happy football." So just wanted to go ahead and put that out there.
Yeah, I think for them to want to promote themselves and be proud of themselves is really awesome. They're an expansion club, and to show the other clubs that hey, we are the new top dogs. And maybe rub it in a little bit is fun. I think it is good fun.
So should they change their name to World Class Premier Elite Top Dogs?
The top dogs, that would help as a mascot. I mean, they're already a word salad unto themselves. Adding a mascot.
maybe world top class. That'd be better.
But then, think about it. What are the feelings going to be like if another top team comes in and just swoops them, and what's going to happen there?
Well, the playoffs are coming up, so anything could happen, but World Class Premier Elite has proven themselves to be one of the better teams on the East Coast, and we'll see if that translates to the national playoffs.
So now let's talk a little bit more about the Atlantic Caribbean as Honduras 5 stars. They toppled Forest Rovers to move to the top of the table. How did they take that top spot? Were you managed to see that matchup?
Actually, yeah, I think the game that they won was over Stone Mountain, not Forest Rovers. I think that might be a translation mistake on our part. But as 5 stars, amazing job so far this season as a brand new participant in the Caribbean League. I think they've really turned the league on its head, and to be able to come in and make sure that everybody knows who the new team is. I think we're helping promote them here on this show week after week. We've talked about, Honduras 5 stars as being that team that everybody's looking at. And I wonder now, has all this attention and this climb to the top, what will this do for the team? Will this be, the culmination of something for them, and will we see a drop, or will we see more from Honduras 5 stars? What do you think, Art?
Yeah, I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense. I mean, they're having a good season. They're definitely the team to beat. 4 wins, 3 draws, but still no losses. So I think we will see them getting better. And yeah, it's going to be an exciting season from here on out.
Seems to be a common trend going on in the UPSL where these new teams will join into the league and they will have a spectacular first year. And they get on the charts and manage to play some great soccer, and it's a big thing and a great thing coming up for the UPSL. But now let's move over to the Northeast, as we do have COVID Pro Soccer and Safira FC currently tied up at 3-0-0 in record in the championship tier. Who do you think will come out on top?
That's a great question. Safira, of course, is one of the best futsal clubs in North America. And so they bring a level of skill to the UPSL that's rare around the league. Juve Pro, they struggled in their first season last year. And of course, the Northeast, this is their second season in the league. They played spring 2018, now spring 2019, and now they're broken into 2 tiers. And we're talking specifically about the second tier, the championship tier there. So, Safira, I think, has the level of talent and skill just by looking at them and looking at their history to say, hey, they should probably be the ones here at the end of the season. But both teams have started out 3-0 overall, 3 wins across 3 games, and they both have similar goal differentials around 12 or 13 plus. So, it could be a tight match up the whole season through, and those crucial matchups between Juve Pro and Safira will mean that much more.
Mm-hmm. Art, who do you have coming up top between these 2 ball clubs? Very tough decision, but who do you have?
It's a tough one, but I'm gonna go with Safira. Going with Safira FC.
All right. I respect both of your guys' decisions, but we'll have to wait and see what's to come up for these 2 ball clubs. But now, let's talk about some Midwest action as the battle of the unbeatens in Central Division goes to Chicago, RWB, and Adria. What makes them the favorite in this division?
History. This is a club that goes back to the 50s, and this is their second season in the UPSL. They know what it's going to take now to get the job done in their division and take it to the next step in the conference playoffs. So I think this is just a sign that RWB Adria is getting things going again, and they play, of course, Joliet SC in a return match coming up this upcoming weekend, or I think it's next weekend, and so that'll be one to watch to see how they handle, having to play them on the return trip.
Mm-hmm.
I think secondarily, Adria, RW Adria, they've had good players come in like Matt Clare and Gordy Gerson, guys that have played prominent roles on major arena soccer league teams during the fall to winter months. So they have guys. There's guys around Chicago. Chicago's a great soccer town, of course, and so I think they've benefited from that. Being part of a real league again with the UPSL, I think has helped their program a lot.
Art, can you see history repeating itself on RWB Adria?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, piggybacking on what Dennis said, a lot of history with RWB Adria. I mean, Eusebio once played for them in the late 1970s. I mean, Eusebio, former Portuguese international, was the top scorer of the 1966 World Cup when he scored 9 goals. And he once played for RWB Adria, so there's a lot to say about this team.
Mm-hmm. So now, final stop is over in the Central Division as FC Waco, currently unbeaten on the top of the Heart Division at the halfway point of the season. Do you think they have what it takes to be able to stay perfect throughout this year?
Oh, Texas is tough, right? And I think the Heart Division is one of the more tightly packed divisions. FC Waco, those got off to a great start, and I think maybe they feel like they haven't gotten the respect that they've deserved to this point. But their goal differential, they've got 35 goals to this point. I think that's a massive return offensively. And of course, they have Mr. Jorge De Leon. We know him as Sexy Mexi on Twitter. He had a goal of the week several weeks ago, I think in week 2. And so they definitely have the offensive output to continue to get the job done. It's just how long and how much continuity and consistency can the club provide throughout the rest of the season.
And not to mention, this is the club that has allowed the fewest amount of goals with 10. So the defense is definitely there as well. Mm-hmm. So what about you, Ari? Can we expect FC Waco to stay perfect throughout the second half of the season?
It's going to be tough. Of course they can, but there's more games to be played. And bottom line is, it's between Waco and San Antonio Runners.
And they tied several weeks ago. 3-3, and I think Waco came up and beat Runners in that return match. So I think they're done playing each other for the season, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Well, the bottom line is just, like I said before, don't mess with UPSL Texas.
I mean, we've already seen some serious things go down in UPSL Texas. I mean, we saw in the fall, Inocentes making a serious run for that championship against Cal United. So, I mean, we have seen some serious cases over there in Texas. But that's going to be the end of the tune called the East Coast Swing. But when we come back, we'll make sure to say what's up to the UPSL West Coast. Welcome back to Inside the UPSL, presented by TV EMAX. As we say, what's up to the UPSL West Side, bud? What's up, Art?
What's up,
Dennis? What's up, guys?
What's up? That was actually the West Coast is pretty much, never, that's a dumb joke.
As we take a look at what's cracking on the UPSL West Side. We'll first start off with the Southwest as the perfect Sporting AZFC hosting the Southwest FC on Saturday. What are the keys for Southwest FC to come up victory?
Oh, they got to stick together. They have a really tight-knit group, and I think if they're able to stay consistent, stay healthy, there isn't another team in the Southwest that can really give them a shout. So far, it's proven to be true. Untouched so far. FC Grande wasn't able to get to them, even though I pumped them up early this season. Southwest FC, of course, they participated in the U.S. Open Cup qualifying. Good squad out of El Paso. But Sporting AZ, they have now 2.5 years in the UPSL, and it's really starting to show. They're really one of the league's elite teams at this point, and I think this should probably be a really easy victory for them as they establish themselves as the team to beat in the Southwest.
Do you have identical keys for Southwest FC?
Well, I mean, pretty much. I mean, like Dennis was saying, you know, it's gonna be tough, but you know they are a good team. So as long as they play their game, they should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, John Goosey in the back. It starts in goal with their center back, John Goosey. You know, he played on the 6v6 USA team. Through midfield, they have a Castillo, who is just outstanding on the ball, really helps them move the ball. They have wings. They have a talented goal scorer up top who's like a poacher type. They really have a lot of really good pieces again this season. I think, you know, this is theirs to lose for sure. I think we should definitely see them participating in the national playoffs.
Now let's talk a little bit about the Mountain region, as the San Juan FC and Utah Murciélagos remaining tied at 19 points. Any chances we see these two battling out for the conference title?
I've been trying to figure out here the last few days what's happening next with the Mountain Conference. There might be some games to come. They might go strictly to a playoff setup to set up the champion of the Mountain Conference. Don't quite know what the situation is there yet. I think that there'll probably be a 4-team playoff, so the top 4 teams will be seeded. There might be a tiebreaker situation between San Juan and Murciélagos. I'm not sure what the goal differential is off the top of my head at the moment. That would be the first tiebreaker, of course. But be that as it may, 1 would play 4, 2 would play 3, and eventually we would find our way to a Mountain Conference champion. That team would probably move on to play, you know, one of the Western Conference champions as the UPSL sort of whittles its way down to the national championship game for the spring. So I don't think the Mountain Conference is that far off. Everybody's played 8 games to this point in a 9-team conference. So, you know, that's set up that way unless they're going to play a full more 8 games, because there's still lots of games to be played regular season wise throughout the league, throughout the regular season. We're nowhere near really national playoff time yet. That's July. We still got a month or more, 8 weeks, you know, give or take. So there's still lots of time if they want to play more games. So I'm trying to narrow it down. I'll maybe have it figured out by the next show we do.
Mm-hmm. Now let's shift over to the Pacific Northwest, as the first preseason game, I would say, ended up in a draw. Ended up being 2-2 on Monday night. But is this going to be an example of what the division title game is going to look like? Just a little bit of a preview?
Well, it's the only example we have at this point. So maybe Arctic Rush and Alaska City FC, you know, 2 clubs that we sort of knew about already up there in Alaska coming in, that were going to participate in the league and field men's teams, and to see them go out and play a competitive match on Monday night. Wasn't on Mike Cujo. We didn't see any highlights from it, but we did see someone posted this result that we're looking at from Facebook, kind of gave us a little bit about what happened in the game. And I think, you know, any game's a good game up there in Alaska at this point. We really need to try and get Mike Cujo up there, though, so we can start seeing what's happening.
What really needs to happen is, I remember the last time we were talking about some Alaska, I remember Art was saying that we were going to go up there. Right, Art? We were going to have a show up there?
I'd be up for it. Of course, it'd be fun. You know, if you could, you know, maybe fly up there, or, you know, get one of those cruises. You know, that way we take our time and, you know, getting things ready.
That's interesting, a cruise.
As I imagine my.
So we can all get super sick, and then show up for the game super sick and be like, oh, we can't do the game, and then like get better, and then get super sick again on the way home.
Well, that's if you get seasick. So
yeah, that'd be me.
Can't comment on. Okay, well, sorry.
Well, I think I'm pretty good as far as seasickness is concerned. It doesn't happen to me, but I mean, let's talk about some NorCal, as the newcomers Contra Costa FC dominating the Wild West. But what's the explanation behind their success?
A history of success in both the NorCal La Liga and some other leagues up there in the Bay Area. They came into the UPSL as a fully formed club already, with a fully operating men's side that had been successful already. So I think they just sort of amped up took their program to another level that wasn't a massive step. Some clubs have to take a massive step to be able to join a national league like the UPSL. For Contra Costa FC, it wasn't that big of a step, and they're proving, you know, straight away that they're taking it to teams. They're not afraid of anybody. You know, they don't show any, you know, sort of willingness to cede ground to any team in the UPSL, and I think they're another club that potentially we could see in the national playoff. So, yeah, Contra Costa that straight away coming out all kind of guns blazing there in the Wild West. And I think the big news of the last week, unfortunately, was Chico City Rangers making the announcement that they're no longer operating, and that's unfortunate. Still happening across the U.S. soccer landscape. I think last week there were 3 or 4 teams that made announcements that they're no longer operating. So, yeah, sorry to say Chico City Rangers is one of those that's on that long, massive list that just keeps getting longer of American soccer clubs that are past tense.
It's always unfortunate to hear these ball clubs not being able to follow through and be able to continue on to play. But no other. Over here in SoCal, there's still plenty of season left. But does the SoCal North Division have Cal FC to lose that one? Or do you think Cal FC would win this one?
All right, what do you think? You think this is Cal FC's division to lose?
Absolutely. I mean, they're dominating. I mean, come on, they're just, you know, on top of that division. LA Wolves aren't in striking distance to get any closer. So yes, it's definitely Cal FC's division to lose.
Is it 9 points the difference right now?
It is. It is a 9-point difference. Yes. I mean, they've got it wrapped up.
What do you?
So basically, they have a big target on their backs right now.
Yes.
Massive target, I think. I think they have the roster to sort of hold that target, but at the same time, there's been some rumors circulating about Cal FC, as happens when they drop out of U.S. Open Cup. Maybe some of their players lose interest, maybe some of the front office loses interest, and, you know, there's been some speculation that maybe they could, you know, again, you know, disappear just suddenly because of their lack of participation again in U.S. Open Cup. So that hasn't happened yet. There's nothing official regarding that, of course, but that has sort of been circulating here again recently, I've heard. And it's unfortunate that happens, but I mean, when you have a history of sort of popping in and popping out, you know, that's going to be one of the things, part of the baggage that I guess you carry with you.
So don't quote you yet, right, Dennis?
No, don't quote me at all. Don't ever quote me. That's just bad news.
All right, we'll make sure to take your word up on that, not to quote Dennis Poe. But we're going to take our final break on the show. But when we come back, we'll have our final thoughts and our final goodbyes. But fans, don't forget to follow us and comment your questions down below on all of our social media platforms, on Instagram, Facebook, and even on Twitter. That is at UPSL Soccer. Welcome back to Inside the UPSL, presented by TV Emax. And now we bring you one of the questions that one of our fans commented down below on one of our videos. So here's the question. What team is in first place in the Southwest Conference, and what are the teams to watch?
Sporting AZ FC currently is in first place. They're unbeaten. I believe they've played 3 games so far. And they're definitely the team to beat in the Southwest as the reigning champions. And last spring's national, they were a finalist. They lost the championship game. But there's a lot of good quality teams now in the Southwest Conference. High Plains Drifters FC out of Plano, Texas. They got their first victory, 3-1 over MSC United, which is a Phoenix, Arizona area team. FPS United, which is out of the Midland area. They're connected to the Midland Odessa Soccers in the NPSL. So they're Pharma Professional Soccer. They should be a real quality club coming up. Of course, Southwest FC out of El Paso. They participated in U.S. Open Cup participating for the 2019 tournament. They're joined in El Paso now by Intercity FC, a brand new expansion club. Tapatio FC, another team in West Texas. They have a Chivas Guadalajara-inspired logo, and they should be a really good, skillful, quality club once they get things up and going. And then FC Grande out of Las Cruces, New Mexico. Love their logo, love their badge. I'd like to see them get some better results to really get in the top tier of the Southwest Conference, and I think they're going to get there eventually. But those are most of your top teams to look at in the Southwest Conference.
What about you, Art? Who are your thoughts on your opinions as far as who the top teams to watch for in the Southwest?
Well, with the Southwest, I mean, gotta pretty much take the easy way out. I mean, Sporting AZFC and Southwest FC. I mean, those are the teams that right away come to mind. And of course, we'd like to see, which other teams come out and surprise everyone else.
Of course, yeah. Go ahead.
Team to beat, I would say, Sporting AZFC.
Sporting AZ for sure, and of course they play Southwest this weekend. So if you get a chance, you should try and find that one.
So that's going to be all the time that we have left in Inside the UPSL. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We'd also like to thank Dr. Dallery Dalton for being on the show. And, of course, as always, Art Eftikari and always, Dennis Pope being with us night in and night out. And I was your host, Alex Naveja. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good night, everybody.